Good evening and salutations, my Days of Elias fans. So, I'm going to sit there and start off with a scene that vexed me. Vexed the living F out of me. And that is the scene with Jada and Stephanie. First of all, when Stephanie said that she practically hightailed it out of there to get away from her two jealous exes, I was like, I'm sorry, what? Because the last time I checked, Alex said that he wasn't going after you because he was with Teresa. But this idiot is so full of herself that, when he first came over, she was like, oh, well, I don't know, you ain't playing the field. Sweetheart, you're a 7 at best. Okay, you need to sit there and take that self confidence and take that ish a down a peg. Okay, so when she said that she had to run away from her two jealous exes, I was like, bro, Alex ain't sitting there thinking about you that way. He's really not. For some odd reason, he decided to go out with, and I can't get over this version of Teresa. I really can't. But yeah, Jada's not there talking about, she's deciding if she should move in with Rafe and everything like that. And then after hearing this moaning and bitching session of Stephanie talk about her ex, Jada's all like, oh, well, I guess I'll just sit there and I'm glad I'm taking my sweet time. Let me tell you something about men, okay? We do not have a finite when it comes towards patience. Okay, we really don't. And I think if it was anybody else, and yeah, I've said that she's an 8.5. But there are a lot of 8.5 women out there. Okay? So she'll be the type of chick to sit there and say, I'll take my sweet time. And then the man be like, you know what? I'm just going to sit there and move on to the next woman because I don't have the patience to sit there and deal with you. And I don't know, what planet you actually sit there and think that that's okay? Like that I'm not going to lie, that really irritated me. And the sad thing is, Rafe will sit there and just wait. Don't know why, but he'll just sit there and wait. But yes, just to shorten that whole thing, we do not have a finite when it comes to our patience. We really don't. But as Stephanie gets drunker, she gets more irritating. Then Harris comes in, because Harris is not there hanging out with Ava. He comes in and he was like, well, I'm about to sit there and read a good book or whatever. She's like, no, let's just hang out and have a drink or whatever. Because he walked in, he was like, well, I guess it's 5 o'clock now, right? So he walks in and then, there's not, granted, even before then, there's not there bitching and complaining about men and their socks and this, that, and the third. And, Steffi's all like, oh, I'm swearing off at men. Okay, well then buy a dog and die alone. Buy a dog and die alone, because I'm going to be honest, I think even most women wouldn't want to sit there and deal with you, but okay, sure. So, to get Harrison, and I think the first thing that Stephanie calls him is Harry or something like that. It's like, can I call you Harry or something? He was like, no, 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 no. And then she starts asking a bunch of inappropriate questions and stuff like that. And towards the end, she's like, oh man, wasn't this a whole lot better than sitting there reading the book? And I'm just like, no. I'm pretty sure he would actually have more fun reading that book instead of sitting there dealing with y'all two drunk, annoying ass women. I think he would have had a lot more fun. Um, so Brady sees Teresa in the park because Teresa is dumping the evidence, her putty in broad public, in broad daylight, because that's a smart thing to do. And of course, Brady gets into it with her. Alex comes in defense her like, yo, it seems like you're picking a fight. And I'm like, he has a point. All that wasn't necessary. They were going back and forth over trying to get Kate back into boarding school. Meanwhile, Taze is like, I'm putting my earbuds. I'm not listening to this again. We go back and forth a little bit longer. Brady leaves with Tate. And Tate's like at this point, listen, do you have to constantly sit there and constantly rag on her? You know? And he gets him to sit there and kind of stop. And one of the things he's upset about is the fact that he's like, how do you not even want to go back to boarding school? And that's my whole thing. I'm like, if this was Rachel, you would have sat there and listened to her. You would have asked her what she wanted to do. You wouldn't have just sat there and assumed. But Taylor's just, oh, I just assumed, and and you wonder why he resents you so much and why he feels that Rachel's your favorite. Because you've been doing nothing up until this point but proving him right. But then he realized Tate's like, he's like, did you enjoy boarding school? He's like, well, yeah, no, actually, I did not. Then he turns to Mr. Cool Dad and he's like, you know what? Here's my credit card. Go ahead and have some fun. I'm just like, wait. Because I think he realized just how hard she's been on Tate. And how he even sits there and realizes, he even says, when I was your age, I did some stupid shit too. I was an entitled brat. I was really nasty and rude to Marlena. And so, what's water damage at this point, right? So I'm glad he actually did come to realize that. So he gives him the credit cards, like, go out and have a good time. He leaves. Tate texts Holly and is like, hey, listen, so I got a gold credit card. You wanna go a little crazy? I'm just like, did you really just sat there and just asked her out with your wallet? That's what you just did, right? You just sat there and you just asked her out with your wallet. Because he was like, hey, listen, she said she was going to go out with me a couple of times, but she blown me off. I'm just like, okay, so then just pick somebody else to go out with then. Like, she's clearly not worth it. No. Hey, I got money this time. You want to go out with me? That's the equivalent of what he just did. Then there was some some unwatchable scenes with Alex and I was about to call her Gwen at this point. Alex and Teresa decorating for the holidays and then having another pointless sex scene. Because I got to a point I just muted it at that point. I was like, nope, I'm done. I cannot sit there and do any more of these scenes. Cannot do any more of these pointless ass sex scenes with those two. I cannot do it. Um I can't. Now, while that's going on, you got Chad and Everett kind of going at it for a little bit, you know. Also, I forgot to mention, there's a part where Stephanie's up there thinking that she does kind of miss him and she miss being with him, being with Chad. And I'm just like, well, here's the thing, girlfriend. You plan on going back? You plan on just settling for a life that you don't really want just because you miss him? Because if you do that, then I don't feel bad for you. I didn't feel bad for her for a while because you knew once you found out that he didn't want to marry you, you should have just stopped right then and there instead of playing house. But they're going at it back and forth. Then it gets to a point I talk about Abby, right? And then they start to bond a little bit over her because he was a big admirer of her work. Stephanie talked about her a lot. So they did kind of bond on that for a little bit. That was surprisingly nice. And then, Chad got a call from Thomas about, how his lunch wasn't packed. And he was like, oh, yeah, well, guess I've been relying on Stephanie to do that too much. It was like, yes, you have, because if that was your wife, then that would have been fine. But you gave her wifely duties, and she was not a wife. So, and then you go back to just pretty much just being nasty and contentious with each other. So that was interesting, I guess. Got that going on. What else you got going on? Oh, so Stefan is in the town square, pretty much having a little temper tantrum, yelling at people because he's talking to Clyde, and Clyde wants him to do something that he doesn't want to do. What a shock, right? So he goes to Ava And after Harrison leaves, he's like, hey, listen, Clyde wants to be pushing product in the restaurant. Like, literally, he wants to be there pushing products through the restaurant. So, no, 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 I can't do that. I don't want to sit there and go back. And they both talk about how they don't want to go back. And I'm sitting there just laughing at both of them. I was like, okay, so yeah, what are you going to do? After y'all sat there and cried, whined, bitch and complain, what are y'all going to do next? Now, of course, Stefan's talking about he wants to sit there and kill him. Ava goes left with the conversation because, she's all like, Jake this and Jake that. And, she's like, oh, I just can't help it. You look just like Jake and stuff. And then at one point she calls him Jake again. And then she's like, well, see, unlike Jake, because Jake was very selfless and this, that, and the third. And you wouldn't sit there and really help anyone out. And I'm like, Ava, where are you? It's like the conversation just somewhat went kind of left, right? I get it. He looks like her and everything. He looks like Jake and everything. But I felt like that's something she should have probably like the fact that she started really just bringing it up out of nowhere just felt like kind of left out of left field. I'm like, what are you, bro? Where are you going with this? Like, I don't get this. Um, it was a little out of pocket and it was a little out of nowhere. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, what are you? I don't know. Like, it was a good scene. It went kind of left, and it was like Ava. He's not Jake. Now, again, I will sit there and say before I started watching the show, I didn't really know about this Stefan character, right? And so when I found out that he was Jake, I was like, okay, cool. It's this dude Johnny Z or whatever. But I always did feel like, especially for the fans of Stefan, it's like you didn't give them what they wanted. They wanted Stefan back. You gave them Jake the mechanic. Really? And don't get me wrong, I like Jake. I thought he was a cool character. I like Stefan a little bit more because he has a little bit more temper and flair to him, right? I think they realized that after enough complaining, which took them way longer than it should, they actually did course correct. So, give him some props for that. Um, I feel like that's about it. I can't think of anything else that wound up happening. But of course, if I forget anything, you know what to do. Come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll sit there and talk about all the shows. Days of a Life, General Hospital, Bold and Beautiful, and Young and Restless. And with that being said, gonna go. Also, if you're not a member, definitely think about hitting the join button. I'm trying something new. I am doing for members. There's some videos that I sit there and do, and I will keep it just for members. There's other videos I'm gonna start doing that will be early access. I'll sit there and put it out for the members first for a little bit, and then I will put it out for everyone else. I have some ideas for videos I want to sit there and do, and I think they'll be really cool. So if you want to be the first person to sit there and see it, talk about it in the member circle before the rest of the public get a chance to sit there and kind of weigh in on it, definitely hit the join button. I have some new ideas for this channel. I'm feeling very invigorated, I'll sit there and say. So yes. Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. I'm just want to wait till it gets to 14. Okay.